Hello everybody, Hal Striggedy here. Today I wanted to do a quick video on the idea that ENTPs might, or I guess plenty of others as well, but the idea of needing to kind of be a control freak about the future. It's like a different type of control freak idea that I was kind of, it's been alluded to when I've talked to some people before about myself, but I was talking to my mother about it the other day. And it's kind of, yeah, there are other friends that would kind of say that too, is like, you can't control the future. And it's like, it's so different than I have an NTJ friend that will outright talk about like controlling people. Like they know what this person should do and they're going to, control this person to do that or, and this and that. And it's very different than that. It's more like, well, I don't know if this is what I want or if that's what I want. But I know that by taking these steps, um, I can control the future such that I have both options 2 months down the road, a year down the road. So always looking at the future and trying to control it too much. Um, I was just kind of wondering. Obviously, I would think that I think this would be something that plenty of other people would relate to. I think I haven't thought about it in the sense of temperaments, but I would say that the NT temperament is going to focus on that quite a bit, and the SJs might get some of that as well from a different angle. I think the NTs would try to be controlling the future in a more long range, I guess, situation, where the SJs are perhaps in times more successful at controlling futures, or at least mundane futures, in the fact that they're dealing with the everyday here and now to actually actualize that within the NTs. I think there might be a divide, and that's what I'm saying. It seems a little bit different than the NTJ perspective. Uh, just a different, but yeah, that's where when I've when I've interacted with interpersonal conflict or any of those other things, people have said that is like, oh, you're worrying about it too much because you're trying to control the future, and you can't control the future. Um, but with some things, yeah, with some things, I have the desire. I don't want to be limited in my possibilities, or I don't. If I want something, I'm used to being able to. If there's my whole deal, I guess always is the future is what you can destroy a day. I mean, like I don't really care about the weather. That kind of stuff doesn't really bother me ever. Um, well, not that it wouldn't bother me ever, but I don't care if it snows, 3 feet, and I gotta shovel it out. Doesn't matter. What matters is you take away my 1 year from now, you take away my 10 years from now, whatever I'm looking towards. That's what matters. Today, if tomorrow is good enough, if a year from now is good enough, today can be whatever hell you give me. If the trade-off is there, I want that trade-off. Doesn't it's just a calculation. Is the tomorrow that's promised worth the today that is the hell? If it is, I don't care. So, but that actually does. So it is a forward-looking situation, but it does lend itself to having an over preoccupation with controlling variables, controlling outcomes, or controlling the environment such that you would have a number of outcomes available in the future. What was I thinking about this way? So yeah, I said I was talking about this with my mother, and that was kind of interesting. And I mean, this definitely relates to the at least the primary function and the tertiary function loops. I've read about this some places I've read about the idea that um, the NTPs would be using they'd be using their FE to try to disarm people and take control of situations because of their need to have the options in the future. So they look to charm people or to they can't stand the idea of being stuck making a decision in the now. They're not sure. They'll keep their options open, so they'll schmooze a little bit to make sure they get to keep their options open for the for the future that way. Just an interesting concept, and obviously, and I think where I've seen that where I've read that before, the answer is developing that defensive function that I was talking about in one of the other videos. Developing TI, deciding what do I really want. Once you decide, once you refine that TI and allow it to give you that subjective judgment and say, why am I even messing with these other outcomes? Why am I trying to? No, this is what I really want. And you might still try to control the future with that aspect as well, but it's a little bit less. As long as your use of TI would be reasonable, which it ought to be reasonable, but it doesn't always mean that you're the way that you're logicking the situation or your inputs are reasonable to begin with. So then you would off put that, but you shouldn't be as disappointed. And disappointment isn't necessarily the situation I usually deal with. Not saying I don't get disappointed, but you shouldn't face all the preoccupation with some of the other situations. For myself, I mean, I do. And maybe I was talking about this with my mother, like I said, and she's ISFJ, so she was just saying, man, like it would just kill me to think about the future the way you're thinking about it and worry about all those things. It's just like, well, it's like what I do. My actions aren't my actions for now. My actions are my actions for, later. It depends. I mean, I love the type of group interactions where you can, just let loose and actually have fun, and people can bring me into the now. But most of the time, oh boy, now I'm thinking of somebody else in a different posture. So that's interesting. Okay, but most of the time, in a work setting or in so many other settings, I'm more focused towards options down the road, and it's different. Yeah, that's where I might conflict also with the T dominance or auxiliaries, but they pick a plan of action. They pick a plan of action to control the future in a more obvious way, and they're just like, nope, they run with it, and yeah, I mean, so I guess that would explain why I'm not. That also would explain some of the. Oh man, I'm rambling in this video, and I sound like crap. Hopefully, my other videos today don't go so poorly. But I mean, that would explain the frustrations that some types are going to have with the modeling aspects or different. If you're creating something, the creative process. I haven't decided how I want to calculate this yet or how I want to build this yet because, well, I mean, deciding would limit my option set. And I haven't gotten there yet, so I don't know, and that has got to be, that has definitely got to be frustrating. But I have already heard about the, perfectionist aspect of the intuitive dominant individuals, the lead NE and the lead NI users. But just the idea that a person would be trying to control the future so intensely. I was just kind of wondering at what people would think about an idea like that. Definitely interesting, at least to me. So, also warm up video. I've got an interaction subset, and I can hear in my own voice. It's like, oh boy, maybe I should have opted for some R&R or another social engagement. I'm skipping to run some of this. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't give my voice the R&R, I guess, or I should be. But let me know what everybody thinks about this. If anybody's got anything to pitch in. Yeah, well, actually, there was something else. I think this especially relates to myself. So rambling on, and I was going to try to cut it under 10. But this is especially related to myself in relational circumstances and in job security circumstances. Job security is that ugly, it's like, whoa. So what I'm looking at there is like, Yeah, so it's still gonna show up in theoretical land, but in theoretical land it gets hashed out in a better math method, I feel, and you can force it to happen. You know, in theoretical land, you can sit down and do an academic test and start off open ended and come to a conclusion, and not have a whole lot of worry and preoccupation in the intervening time period. You can just run through it, and there it is. You start off and you look at story problems and you don't know, and after you work through them, you know a way of solving them. Um, but with the relational situations and the job security, or I guess routine detail situations, it gets a little bit. It's like, man, I don't, how does a person pick a place to live? It's so hard to. It's like I almost want to rush the decision, or when I've done that in the past, or it's just like, oh my goodness, it's so hard to pick. I don't know, which, and you could put it off, or you could, you know, and so those would be the situations that this would, I think, um, impact the most, and then I guess, hmm, okay, okay. Now I'm thinking. Now I should really. I wrote some notes this time actually, and as I'm writing these notes, I was like, actually writing these notes and thinking about them is actually kind of useful. Maybe I should do that more often or something. But now I'm thinking that, well, wow, surprise, surprise. Maybe when you're putting some of these things off, it's because some of them aren't really what you want to do. I think that's probably where I'd be with job security. Job security is always something that you need for financial security and this and that, the other thing, but job security is never actually something I think I really want. Hmm. Hmm. So if I just made up that decision in my mind, I don't know where that'd take me. Well, I kind of know where that would take me, but it's a leap of faith. I don't. Yeah. So actually, that would be coming to a TI conclusion. There is if I actually followed that thread out enough. I should find the self honesty about some of those situations. Man, that's relationally, I think, is a totally different realm, and I think healthier that aspect now. Oh, my necklace is gone. I left it off when I worked out. Um, yeah, so I think I wanted to come to relational certainty far more. That's definitely, so that would be true to myself. And I think I actually deal with that possible circumstance a little bit better nowadays. In younger years, it was probably not well thought out. MBTI is definitely interesting for that, but that's good to spend time thinking through. But yeah, okay, okay. Now I'm being true to myself, and yeah, I've been true to myself about some of these things, but now I really got myself thinking, and that doesn't make for a short video. So yeah, I think that's part and process right there. You find somebody take a peek at some of that and talk it through. So yeah, and that's a bunch of dead space for video, but I guess that is kind of the answer. I don't like that though, because it just limits, and then that's the other problem is job security is a no-no. So I think in reality, job security is a no-no. I don't. Um, Type of job security I would like be like a parachute plan. Be like, instead of job security, I'd like to know that, and I do kind of line this up at times. I'd prefer to just know that I had X number of opportunities available um, in situations of economic distress or need. Um, that would be awesome. And maybe I can create that scenario better than I do. So maybe that's just what I should do. It's interesting. But a lot of different things to think about that way. But yeah, I guess, you just have to be honest to yourself that way. So self honesty. Self honest about some things, but in denial about others. Interesting. Okay, so this is probably an overly pensive video, but I'm gonna search on a forum and see if anybody's talking about this or whatever. Maybe toss it up on there. I was also gonna hold off and save this video for a few days or a week or something, depending on what gets shot later today, and depending on where the edited video from the Renegade Killer Bee ends up coming out and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll just get impatient as hell and post it. But all right, well, thanks for watching, and check out my channel, and Yeah, thanks.